Hello, YouTube subscribers. Today or tonight, whenever you're watching us, I am doing a first review on a Scooby-Doo, not show, but movie. One of basically the very first live action Scooby-Doo movie that came out back in 2002. Yeah, I want to say 2002. Um, which Scooby-Doo, the first one. I bought when I bought this years back, like years back. Uh, at Safeway, when Safeway was still a thing. And when they still had movies, for $5 they had 1 and 2. But when the way I got introduced to Scooby-Doo, the way how I got into Scooby-Doo wasn't the classic cartoon as everybody knows and loves. Me, my sister, she had a advantage between basically the Scooby-Doo I got into, because she actually knew bits and pieces of the original classic cartoon. But me, I really didn't know anything about Scooby-Doo until I watched the 2002 Scooby-Doo live action movie. Basically, I'm not trying to be mean here. I still love the movie. It kinda holds up to this day. I will say some negative things, but more positive things. Basically, 2002 Scooby-Doo. Honestly, I like the director. I did not know throughout when I was growing up until like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is when I actually found out the director from Guardians of the Galaxy, Suicide Squad, and now the latest update on the DC universe / multiverse, was the director and writer for these two Scooby-Doo movies. I'm like, that actually if you actually go back, rewatch the two, and you're like, okay, it actually makes sense. It really does make sense. The way how it was directed, the way how it was written, totally makes sense, because going back, watching the Guardians films, it actually feels a lot like that. The way these Scooby-Doo films were, it felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Like, if we never had a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, technically, these two Scooby-Doo movies would have been our Guardians of the Galaxy. But anyway. Also, I've heard over the years, these Scooby-Doo movies were supposed to be rated R, not PG-13, but it was Warner Brothers' idea to keep it PG-13, which you could, if you actually picked up by now, yes, it basically, he had to go over, like, bleep out and added, words from, like, certain words, like from Shaggy, Velma, probably a few others. But Like, obviously, this still could be a PG-13 thing. Like, also how there was rumors, and basically that it's part of the joke now that basically that's how everybody could hear, that's how everyone in the mystery gang could hear Scooby talk. That's why everybody think, well, at least most people still think that's how Scooby could talk, is because they were high off their ass. And that's also why Shaggy was always hungry all the times, because the dude was always so like in one scene when you see the mystery van sitting outside on the side of the road, right in front of sitting right in front of a beach, or right behind it, whatever, but you still see a beach, and you see like a smoke cloud coming out of the top of the mystery van. Basically, there was rumors. The rumors are gone now, because I guess nobody wants to talk about it no more. That basically Shaggy wasn't really cooking pancakes. Wasn't really, well, he could still been cooking, like having some munchies, but that cloud was actually supposed to be a bong. Was supposed to be like basically a hippie weed smoke cloud come from inside the van out of the van, and now, and when I heard those rumors was like very years ago. Don't hear them anymore, which is kind of sad, because it was basically not really to this day, but still, if you go back over the past few cartoon movies, like cartoon movies, shows, and basically still the James Gunn movies, Shaggy gets high. Point blank. Blank from there. Now, other people do have their theories of why everybody could hear the dog talk. Okay, yeah. Those theories are good too. But the funniest and the most hilarious theory yet is actually the gang gets high, and that's how they can understand the dog. Anyway. 2002 Scooby-Doo. Okay, for this to be the first live-action Scooby-Doo back in 2002, yes. Back then, CGI was not great. To this fucking day, it's still not great. If you're not very careful with CGI, the way how you do CGI, it can be terrible. If you actually put enough effort into it, take your time with it, you can get it right. That's why the MCU was able to stay as strong as it has been until now, because basically the MCU has been rushing on their CGI, and it actually looks like the Scooby-Doo from the 2002 to its sequel, Scooby-Doo. And basically, if you look at She-Hulk and a few others, the CGI does look crappy. But it does its best on trying to be realistic as much as possible. Yes, it is leaning to too much CGI, but it at least does try its best. It at least got a few good things about it. is that a good story plot. It at least has a good story plot to stand on. That basically it tries to be its own thing. It tries too much not to be connected to the cartoon shows or show, whatever, which one that it probably wanted to. But it doesn't try too hard to connect to either cartoon series. It tries to be on its own thing, tries to do its own type of thing. But with that story plot you got with, it's trying to be its own thing, but not too, and even though at times it does show a little too much of trying to be its own thing, but also basically hinting that they've been through adventures, they've done mysteries together, been through shit, and basically this group of Mystery Inc. does quote a few things like going to castles and some shit follow you and basically nights and things pop out and scare the living hell out of you. Yes, that's actually something that actually happens to them throughout the cartoons, movies, and shows. Which is great how they hinted that, but it still tries to be its own thing. How they're tired of how in the beginning you can tell that they're tired of each other. They don't get how Fred doesn't basically comment them as a group. It's all him with the big head ego. And they just, Fred, Velma, and Daphne just can't fucking handle it no more. That they need to break up, split completely over type thing. Shaggy, he's kind of like me, where where he sees basically everyone that he actually loves has a purpose. Even though, yeah, he quoted, "I'm just the dude that carries bags," but really, we all this. So, like how he exampled, Fred, you're the big banana. Daphne, you're the bubblegum flavored ice cream. And Velma, you're the sweet sour mustard sauce that goes on top. And, but how he just tries to be cheerful and look on the positives, and yet he doesn't really, but he still doesn't see, even though he kind of tries to pretend he doesn't, with that part, it's just, but it does, but by doing that, and then and watching them to come back together, going to this island, going to a mystery that they think they can do by themselves, but really, it basically lines up back together together as a group to look at this mystery together, not by themselves, because they're great. Because at the end they realize they're good by themselves. They're basically trying to do this alone. They're crap. Which that's where I see. That's why I say basically this is like our Guardians of the Galaxy type movie, James Gunn movie, and I feel like this set the platform for him to do Guardians of the Galaxy, because it was just it felt like that. And honestly, yes, I know. I'm acting like Guardians of the Galaxy came out before the Scooby-Doo movie did it, and I'm not trying to say that, but I'm just saying that's the platform. and to me, it just kind of felt like it helped him get up there. But Story plot's good, yes. It does try to do something new and get away what the original shows, the cartoon movies do, or at least the classic ones that did, where it's a human in the costume and not an actual supernatural monster. When in the 2002 movie, as it showed in the beginning, before Fred took all the credit, and it showed that they were in during the ending part of the mystery, the trapping part. Um, uh, it was a human in a costume, basically a human dressing out like a ghost. Um, and but it does try where I feel like that part I feel like that part he threw in there to at least hopefully to please fans with at least that part, because he knew further on into the movie he's not actually gonna do a human a human inside a ghost or a Frankenstein costume. No, he's actually trying to do something new, something different. When back in 2002, when Warner Brothers wanted to do a live action Scooby-Doo, so on the side of him thinking, okay, this can be something on its own, or at least tries to be, but hint at like a few things in the past, like what happened in the shows and shit, but it still tries to be on its own. Hey, let's actually throw in some real monsters, some actual real creatures. So let's throw that in. Have that at least a little different, where it's at least somewhat standing on its own. And let's have the mystery Inc. quote, yeah, they've been on these adventures, but now they're sick of themselves and they want to split up. But later on in the movie, they actually learn they're not that great by themselves, but they're crap. But together, that's when they realize, and that's what Fred realized, and that's where Fred's ego shrinks, that they're good as a group. They all need to Fred needs to give them all credit and not just himself. And that's what makes the Mystery Inc. perfect. And to me, that's what gives it a good story plot. That's what makes me feel like holds this movie together, even to this very day. The CGI, no. Well, kinda. I mean, if you compare it to She-Hulk and the way how She-Hulk looks half of the time in the show, yeah, the CGI actually does stands up to this day. But comparing it to the phase 1, 2, and 3 MCU movies, no. And honestly, if I am being honest, yes, this was my first Scooby-Doo, basically, my first anything when I was growing up of a introduction of Scooby-Doo in my childhood. Did I actually go back during my childhood after I found out there was a classic cartoon, a few classic cartoon movies, I think, if I still remember correctly, and how there are different reverberations of the cartoons, and basically I have seen a few other of the live action movies. Yes, and yes. I basically kind of watch every Scooby-Doo cartoon until this very day, because I've actually had a problem to myself, because when I got introduced to Scooby-Doo through the 2002 movie, I liked the classic cartoon. I will not argue with that. It was good the way it was. all the cartoons actually has been great up to this very fucking day, because Velma, the HBO Max or Max, however you want to put it, original series, Velma, freaking sucks. I get what it was trying to do. I get it was trying to be realistic, set in the now upgraded today setting. And that's not what the true character is. That's not what the true freaking Scooby-Doo gang is about. You don't even have Scooby-Doo in the show as it is. And it tries to be its own different thing, just with the Velma title on it. So that I haven't seen, I heard reviews for it, and those reviews sucked. And it's getting a second season because dumbass people, and most of them were Scooby-Doo fans, watched it, and that's how it was getting a season 2. So hopefully fans are smart and not watch season 2, because if they do, it will get a third season. I've seen all the not the original, but I've seen all the other live action movies that actually didn't go to theater but went to TV. I heard mixed reviews for that, because when that was getting made, or at least the first one was getting made, I heard it was a complete remake. I heard it was a requel. I heard it was a little bit mixed of both, a requel and a remake, because it was supposed to show how the original Mystery Gang that we saw back in 2002 and its sequel met and came together, even though James Gunn wasn't the director. And yet it was a remake. Looking back on that now, yeah, the graphics was even more terrible than the 2010 movie. And all those actors was trying too hard, being basically the character, the same acting in the 2002 and its sequel. So, which that's what made it terrible. But me as a young child watching it, I actually somewhat liked it to a certain point, but not too much, because to me, I liked it how they said it, and because I liked the visual, how I saw it was, okay, we never did see how the Scooby Gang actually met before. We never saw them as teenagers. Here they are, in teenage form, in high school. We're finally seeing how they met. Cool. That was my only reason why I liked it. But basically, as being my number one first start and entrance into the Scooby-Doo movie, well, franchise, I actually like it and still like it to this very day, because, once again, it was my introduction, my first Scooby-Doo anything that got me into the franchise. Basically, graphics does suck if you're not thinking about it. If you're actually thinking about it and not comparing it to anything else that may have even more crappy CGI, but if you actually do, you might redeem it. The story plot's good, the acting's good. Honestly, 2002 was the 2002 Scooby-Doo movie was my first Scooby-Doo. My first Scooby-Doo. But my first movie, my very first movie, with Matthew Lillard, the actor that played Freddy, and the actress that played Daphne. Because when my mom had me go back and watch She's All That when I was a kid, watching them basically the actor that played uh Fred and Shaggy, I'm like, yeah, okay, they're good actors in that. I hate him. I hate the actor that played Shaggy because he was a bit of a dick. But and then end up finding in a $5 bin I Know What You Did Last Summer. My mom, my sister, and I watched that. We're like, oh, that's the actor that played Fred. Slash, also he was in She's All That. Also, the actress that played Daphne was in that, and we're like, yeah. Sadly, she died. The actress that played Daphne died, and honestly, to this day, I like joking about it. Is that how I'm actually shocked how she finally got to a point in her freaking life and to be able to still act like a victim in the beginning, but later on stand her ground and survive a basically paranormal movie. Um. And then which I do like how the actor that played Fred and Daphne actually still do things to this day, like Star Wars, Rebels. They actually do Rebels. I'm not joking. I did like how the actress that played Daphne, when I watched the first time when I watched Scream 2, I liked her in it. Sucked that she died again in that movie, but the girls still stand her ground. Also, the third movie I saw Matthew Lillard in was Scream 1, and I'm like, that's the dude played Shaggy, and I'm like, okay, Scream 1's my favorite, because even though Scream 4 was the first Scream movie I saw, I'm like, okay, Scream 1 just hit the top of my favorite list, because I was young, I didn't really go into as I am today, and I was a fan of Matthew Lillard, and I still am, and that's why and honestly, I think that's also one of the reasons why it's still on the top of the list. Scooby-Doo 1, 2002, basically, good acting, good story plot, CGI could have been, there's not really much to argue because back then we were still touching and experimenting with CGI. The villain could have been worked on just a little bit. The villain was, Scrappy-Doo, Little Scooby. Come on. The villain, I get it. It was trying to be on its own. It was trying to be its own thing. Changing a few characters. I understand that. But come on. The villain sucked. No argument around it. I mean, more horrible than I'm okay. Basically, the way how it felt to me was an even point with basically Gore, the God Butcher. Basically, same level. Yes, 2002, Scooby-Doo was supposed to be rated R, but again, Warner Brothers changed the rating, kept it at PG-13 for kids to go and see it, because it did start out as a children's thing, just like Five Nights at Freddy's. It wasn't supposed to be for kids, it was supposed to be for adults, and yet it ended up for kids. Which, don't miss that movie because Matthew Lillard is supposed to be in it. And I'm pretty sure that will be one of the reasons why I like the Five Nights at Freddy movie. Because he's in it. But And that'll actually be one of the reasons why I'll go to the theater and see it. Not because I don't have Peacock, but it's because they have Matthew Lillard in the movie. But it's understandable that they want to keep it PG-13 because it's Scooby-Doo. Star Wars children's show, let's keep it that way. Even though now these days, the Velma show, let's make it rated R. Let's make it now these days because kids are now rated R. I bet James going to say it right now. You pieces of shit. You guys were picky back then, but now you want to destroy what you built now? It's like, seriously? But anyway. There was a part where you can see that was taken out. Like, as a young kid, you won't, but grown up and rewatching, you can tell there's a big part that got taken out and replaced and basically shortened. Not replaced, but short. Well, kind of replaced, but basically shortened to not show that part, to not need that part. It was good. It's still good, but you can tell it was short. There was a scene that was supposed to be in it, and it was Velma singing, kind of dancing sexually, and you could tell. That's why everybody was clapping. And it was because she was drinking. Yes, you can tell in that red Spooky Island cup. It was alcohol. That's why she gave the shocking face. But because by that one big glass, it was supposed to show her drunk, as it still shows her. But she was supposed to dance and sing. So, but even though we still didn't get that, the scene did work perfectly, and we got to see James Gunn's update version and how it could have stand on its own. And so basically, yeah, I still like it. I still give it 5 stars. I can't really argue because it, like I've said over and over, this movie was the 2002's Scooby-Doo movie was the first introduction for me into the Scooby-Doo franchise. So I still give it to this day 5 stars, no arguments. I do have that on the very top of my list, favorite Scooby-Doo list. Mostly because of the actors and actresses in it. And also there is one comment when the actor that played Fred was in an interview. I did like one of his comments. When he got asked how did he feel about doing the movie, did he feel like does he think everybody's gonna like it? When he said it's a talking dog movie. I mean, who wouldn't want to do that, and who wouldn't like it? It's a talking dog movie. Just, he said it with a straight face. Really didn't give a shit. Which, okay, yeah, I get it. He did say now he hated the pay. He hated the paycheck. He hated how he was kind of treated. Which, okay, yeah. And another thing that I actually still didn't see, I didn't see another cartoon. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen every of the Scooby-Doo cartoons. I'm pretty sure I've seen a few, even a few of the cartoon movies. But the one cartoon movie I did not see, which was also the latest one on the side of the Velma, was the Scooby-Doo superhero movie, and that was because I wasn't so fond of it as much as my mom and sister was. Half of the reason was because of Matthew Lillard. He wasn't the voice of Shaggy because he said something to piss off Warner Brothers, which I still don't know what that was until this very day. So, so, tomorrow, I'm gonna try tomorrow. Not really gonna be sure. Depends how tired and, exhausted I am. I'm gonna do Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, tomorrow. So, drop your comments down below. What's your favorite Scooby-Doo TV series, cartoon movie, live action movie, whatever. Whatever deals with Scooby-Doo, comment it down below. If you're a old subscriber, welcome back. If you're a newcomer that's just dropping by, randomly found one of my videos, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button if you liked this video. Hit the dislike button if you didn't like this video. Also, you know what, I'll save that last one for future video that I'm going to do. But yeah, drop a comment down below. Anything with Matthew Lillard, any comment with the actors and actresses from the first 2 live-action Scooby-Doo movies. Your thoughts on the first 2 Scooby-Doo movies. What's your favorite line from either either movie or TV series from the Scooby-Doo franchise? From Shaggy, Velma, Scooby-Doo, Daphne, Fred. Who said I would have gone away with it too if it wasn't for your meddling kids? Who said that line better? Basically anything that deals with Scooby-Doo, anything you want to put down in the comments about Scooby-Doo, have at it. Have a nice day, have a nice night whenever you're watching us. Peace.